Welcome into today's video, you guys. Today we are doing a try on of the entire ColourPop X Twilight collection. I bought this on launch day. It has been here for several days. I am very behind. Today, as I'm filming this, it's Sunday, and I want to say that it arrived on Wednesday. So I did do 2-day shipping. Funny story, I was actually thinking that I was going to get the collection, and I was watching when it launched, but I happened to be like driving right at 1 o'clock my time, where I think on the West Coast it was 10 a.m. So it had hit exactly 1 p.m. and I was like, I'll just jump on and see if I can get it. Fortunately, I was able to add it to the cart, but I had to wait in line to check out. And then after I bought it, I think like 2 days later, I heard that it had sold out in like minutes. So I don't even know how I snuck in there and was able to snag it, but I did do 2-day express shipping, 2-day air shipping, I guess, because I wanted to get it up quick enough, but my father-in-law came into town on Wednesday, so I did not have time to sit down and film. This is the first time, but I do have the full collection for you guys. So let's hop right into it. So I bought the full collection at $99. It's a full value of $119. You can buy all of these things individually, including the lip oils if you wanted to. They do sell individually. The whole collection comes with an eyeshadow palette, the Soul Body Shimmering Dry Body Oil. There are 3 liquid liners, there are 2 Super Shock highlighters, and 3 lip oils. And even though it sold out minutes, ColourPop did put out a notice saying they are working on the restock. So if you guys are interested in this collection, they should restock it at some point, hopefully sooner rather than later. I'm assuming demand is pretty high. I was such a fan of Twilight when it first came out. I remember seeing this video, I want to say back on like VHS. Even. It might have been DVD, I don't know. When it first came out, they still had rented movies. And so I would go sometimes, see what movies they had in stock. And I saw a poster for Twilight and I was like, what is this? It was a new release. So I picked it up and I took it home, I watched it, I cried my eyes out, I fell in love, and then I was addicted to the rest of the films. I just loved the love story. It's a little bit different for me now, watching it back as like a much older adult and kind of going, oh, you know, okay. But at the time, I was fully in love with the love story. And side note, I'm all about the vampire films, the vampire stories. I loved the Vampire Diaries and every other sequel that came after that, the originals, etc. I have always been a sucker of a good love story, and when you throw in vampires in there, I'm all about it. So that is a little bit about me, you guys. Let's hop right into this collection. I'm gonna do 2 eye looks because I took a look at this palette and I was like, you know, you can get 2 really cool, very different eye looks, but I want to try this Soul Body Shimmering Body Oil on first. It's called Like Diamonds. Now, if you look at the site, it does retail for $12 individually. It says achieve a vampire glow with this luxe lightweight dry oil inspired by Edward's sparkling skin. So if you look at this, you can see like multicolored sparkles throughout. It is a very liquidy formula. It doesn't seem to have a whole ton of texture. I kind of imagine it's gonna like get all over the place here. Very liquidy. So it just kind of runs down the hand. Ooh, it smells like coconut, which a lot of Soul Body stuff does. I don't know if I see too much of it on the hands right now. My sparkles weren't like intense. I don't see like a ton of intense sparkles translating. I don't think I gave myself vampire skin. Definitely a ton of leftover sparkles on the hand. Very liquidy formula. This would be like something I would use on the legs during the summertime. A lot of my leg oils are much thicker and not as liquidy, but I will be for sure using this. Maybe like even on the shoulders, kind of in the summer months. So this actually will have some practical use for me personally. So I have a couple of shimmery body oils. I have one from Summer Fridays that I absolutely love. So I'm actually quite a big fan of those, especially on the legs. Let's jump right into this eyeshadow palette, you guys. Individually, this palette retails for $24. It's a limited edition palette featuring 15 moody blues, forest greens, and sparkling cool neutrals inspired by the iconic film. Ultra pigmented pressed powder formula, long lasting. That essentially is it. I feel like $24 for this is quite a bit for an individual palette for ColourPop. I have not known them to do a collection where the palette retails for quite as much money. You guys can correct me on this if I'm incorrect, but there are 4 reviews so far. Someone says, I don't care what most people have said, the palette is giving Twilight. The colors and glitters are so pretty on the eyes. I love this, 1,000 out of 10. Everyone that has rated this 4 stars, so it looks like it's getting good reviews. What I have heard online is someone say it's like missing red, you know, I guess for blood, But I think with the first film, I mean, it was basically just the development of the love story. And there were a lot of blues, a lot of grays in the first film. So I feel like this encapsulates the overall production of the first film, the colors included in the production of the first film. So if they ended up doing like a Twilight 2 collection, I could see us getting some reds in there. But I feel like for this one, it's a really decent array of shades. So let's go ahead and let's swatch this whole thing. I'm gonna start on this palette from top left over right and down, and I'm gonna go down my arm. So let's start with this one that is called Edward, which feels like a Super Shock formula. And I'm gonna start here. That one is very gritty. Lot of suspended sparkles in that one. Then we have a really light gray that almost is like a blue undertone called Unconditionally, and it is a matte. That's nice. The next one feels like a pretty intense shimmer. Could be a Super Shock formula. This one is in Prom Night, which is not in the first film, right? Because I don't think they got to Prom Night until the second film. The next one is Immortal. Ooh, this is a really wet one, just like the Edward one. It's like a steel blue with sparkles. I feel like we might have to go for some of these chunkier shimmers. Ooh, that one's really pretty. This definitely feels like a Super Shock. There is Immortal. This next one is Ice Cold. Pretty. A lot of shimmers in this top row. That one is really pretty. That's an everyday kind of wearable shade. It has like a gray tinge to it. Super light so far, but that top row is pretty light. And then Say It Out Loud is a taupe matte. I had to scrape it a little bit, but it got hard panned. Nothing was picking up on my finger, but this is a taupey shade, which would be a great transition shade for a lot of these cool tone looks, but I had to scrape it. It hard panned the minute I touched it. Let me show you guys what it looked like. There it is right there. I couldn't even pick anything up on my initial swatch. It was immediately hard panning. This next one is a blue shimmer called The Cullens. It's a bluish purple. It's like a blue with a purplish base to it. Not a ton of sparkles in that one. More of kind of like a satin shimmer. This next one is Green. Ooh, this is a really creamy duochrome. I don't know if you guys can see this flip. It's like a green to purple. Wow, it looks fully green in the pan. Oh, that's a beautiful duochrome. Nice and creamy. I feel like we'll definitely grab that one. And then 17 is a green matte. There it is. It's like a taupey green. I'm getting some colors in those last couple of swatches. This next one is called Moonlit, and it's a taupey shimmer shade. I like that one too. That's a really nice everyday shade as well. Impossibly Fast is a forest green matte. There it is there. Nice deepening shade for the outer corner. There it is. I love that duochrome right in the center of the palette. And the brown shade, like the brown matte, is Bella. It's interesting that they chose the brown matte for Bella. And then Irrevocably is a blue matte. I wonder why that shade name. There it is there. That one's really, really nice and creamy. This last one is a black. I feel like it's a Super Shock. It is so darn creamy. It has sparkles in it, but it is like kind of a shimmer formula. Real nice deepening shade. Some really nice colors at the end of the palette. You can see it's like much lighter toned in the top row and even like the middle row. It doesn't get really dark until you get to the end. I do really like this color story, and I think it makes a ton of sense. And you have some nice transition shades, but you also have some mid-tone shades and some deepening shades. So I think we can get two really nice, like very distinct looks out of this. My only concern was that one shade, the Say It Out Loud, is completely hard panned. I've never had a ColourPop hard pan on me before. So this is what I'm going to do. I think I'm gonna stick with two shades and go for a blue look. So I'm going to start this one as a transition. I'm going to build depth with this one. I'm going to lay the Cullens down as an all over shimmer, but I'm going to pull this one here, this sparkly kind of glitter topper. It's much tighter pressed than like a full on glitter topper. I don't think it's a pressed glitter, but it could be. This one here in Immortal. We'll just lay it all over. So I'm going to zoom you guys in and speed through this process. So I have decided I want to take that black shade, which I don't think I named. It is Forever Young down here, and I'm going to use it even though it's a sparkle. I want this bottom half to be much deeper in the outer corner. Yeah, my initial reaction is that that Irrevocably shade is not very deep in the blue department, but I kind of feel like this black has like a bluish tinge to it. But you can also like build these two shades together as well, just to deepen up that blue a little bit. I just wanted to intensify that glitter just a little bit more, so I went in with a pointed brush, just dry, and I think it looks really pretty. I loved this like sparkly pressed glitter on top of that other shade. I feel like individually both of them would have looked a little bit light on their own, but I really like them together. I like that it has this black shade in here to really deepen things up for the blue look anyway. So that is the blue look, you guys. We are gonna use some liners as well, but I want to do the other side first and then we can go into the liner. I'm going to grab for the other kind of remaining colors and do a green look. So here I'm going to take this one as the transition, deepen with this one. I might mix these two together depending upon how deep the shade goes, but we're going to do this duochrome here because that looks absolutely amazing and we're going to use it all on its own. Okay, I don't know if you guys saw that, but when I was blending out the 17 shade, the lighter green shade, it was really, really patchy. I was using a synthetic brush when I first started and I switched to a Refer 15, which is natural hair, and it seemed to blend a little bit better. Plus it was just a tighter brush. I was using something a little bit more fluffy to lay down the pigment. Yeah, it was skipping. I never set my eyes. I don't put anything on my eyes when I test an eyeshadow palette for the first time. I don't like to because I don't really know how the shadows are going to perform on top of it. And usually when I'm testing an eyeshadow palette for the first time, I'm usually testing formula and not longevity. I want to say though that this Impossibly Fast shade is such a beautiful shade. I could just like diffuse this inward and smoke it out. It's really, really pretty. I don't know if it's like exactly giving me the depth that I want, but I'm trying to kind of build it up a little bit out here. And this duochrome I feel like is just, it's giving. It is so gorgeous. I am not going to do any lower lash line work today. I don't think that helps, and I don't typically do lower lash line work anyway, at least not all the time. I kind of just want to show you some of the matte shades in here and how some of them seem to kind of hard pan just a little bit, like after using them, especially this one right here. I would not say that these are my favorite mattes from ColourPop. Yeah, some of them are just giving me a little bit of difficulty, but this Lion and Lamb duochrome is so gorgeous. I am going to go put on my foundation, bronzer, blush, then we're gonna come back, we're gonna do liners, highlighters, and lip oils. Okay, we are back. Let's get into these liners. These are the graphic ink liners. They retail for $10 a piece, and they do look like they come in 3 different shades. So here is the outer packaging. There is quotes on each of these from the movie. This one says, "They kind of keep to themselves. I know what you are. Say it out loud. Vampire." He's totally gorgeous, obviously. So that is what it said on all of these. It comes with a black, a green, I believe, and a blue, and they all have some shimmer to them. They seem a little bit liquidy. Only one of them has a review at the current moment, and it only has 4 stars instead of 5. So I don't know what the review said. My initial kind of reaction to these, they're just on the liquidy side. And I know ColourPop to do like a really great matte liner formula, but these, I don't know if they're matte. They don't say. Super pigmented liquid liner inspired by Twilight with a flexible precision tip. And then there's nothing else under more details. So don't think these are matte. They're just like kind of a shiny, glittery liner. This blue one is like almost translucent. Is it blue or is it green? So here is them all swatched out. The green one or bluish one is in Forever. The red one is in Vampire. And then the one that's the sparkly black is in Coven. As you can see, the bluish greenish one is much more like liquidy than the other ones, which is a shame because I feel like I would want to use that one. They do look like they dry down to a matte finish, but it definitely takes a while. Yeah, I'm just gonna base this on the quality of the way that they're swatching. All right, I'm gonna try the blue on the blue side. I don't know about this, you guys. It's a really liquidy formula. That's not my favorite formula. It's very liquidy. It definitely like gets in your eyelashes because it's just overly liquidy. That one didn't show up the greatest, like all over the lid. It also doesn't like show over this blue shadow very much. So I don't know, I'm not a huge fan. Let's try this black one, see if it's any better. ColourPop just has a much better formula than this. I think they were just trying to go for too much of a shimmery formula and it just turned out liquidy because they're like trying to put too many sparkles in it is kind of what it feels like to me. I don't think these are worth a darn, to be quite honest. Yeah, I'm not a fan of those. Besides, I'm not overly proficient as it comes to liners anyway. Let's go into these highlighters next. So 2 Super Shock highlighters dropped. These do retail for $10 a piece. They come in the shades Meadow, which almost has like a pink tinge to it, and then Vampire Skin, which is a little bit more silvery. So let's swatch these. This one is Vampire Skin. Very pretty. Wow. That's intense silver. Okay. I don't know if I have a silver highlighter. Before I swatch this one is in Meadow. It does have like a pinky shift to it. This one might not be my favorite. Yeah, it's more translucent and it's just a pinky shift. I think I prefer the other one in Vampire Skin, but let's go into the left side with this one in Meadow. I'm just trying to pick it up on a fluffy Rare Beauty highlighting brush. If you like a pinky flip highlighter, it's pretty, but this is not something that I'm normally into. I am most excited for this one that is in silver in Vampire Skin. Oh, okay. That one's like mostly glitter. I would have liked to see this have a stronger base. This is mostly glitter, you guys. It's not practical. You know, if you're going for a look, I think it's fine. This is not my favorite applied to the skin. A little bit too much glitter for me personally to wear this like into everyday life. But if you're into a nice glitter, I think it's fine. It's funny because when you swatch it out, it has such a strong base. But even when I was like using my finger and swiping it onto the skin, you pick up mostly glitter. That's pretty much all that kind of translates to the skin. Now let's try on the Luxe lip oils. I have never used a ColourPop Luxe lip oil. These retail for $11 a piece. They come in Team Edward, Team Jacob, and Bells. The Team Edward is fully blue with sparkles, as you can kind of imagine. Here is the doe foot applicator, which I do believe looks like the rest of the Luxe lip oils from ColourPop. Very cool tone shade. Not a lot of sparkles like really translate to the lips though. Here it is, swatched out. Doesn't seem like any of those sparkles really translate though, like to the swatch or to the lips. It kind of just cools down the lips. Well, that is Team Edward. I love the formula. I've never tried it before. It doesn't have any tack to it, so it doesn't feel like it's gonna last very long. It feels like a product that would slip off very easily. Again, I wish this was just a little bit more intense. Like it is so intense in the tube. So blue, so sparkly that I'm not getting a ton out of this. Let's try this one in Team Jacob. This is the black sparkle. These look a little patchy. Could be me though. Yeah, they're kind of a little streaky. And you don't see really too many sparkles. You see a tiny bit of sparkles. Yeah, it's just kind of like a sheer wash of color. There's just, it's not as intense as I was kind of hoping for. You see so much of the lips that it looks a little streaky. I wish these just had a little bit more intense pigmentation to them. Let's go into this one in Bells. It does have a little bit of shimmer to it, but not intense. Well, that one again, pretty sheer, but I like it the best because it doesn't look streaky. I feel like the other ones looked a little bit streaky. But that is the full put together look, you guys. Let me give you my final thoughts on the collection. I could see this Soul Body Shimmering Body Oil not being a lot of people's favorite. I don't really see it like, you know, giving me vampire skin right now. I don't know, maybe it'll show back a little bit differently on camera. This is nice for the legs, but again, it's just on the watery side. I wish it was a little bit of a thicker, dry oil. I think that the eyeshadow palette was nice, but overall though, the mattes were a little bit difficult for me. You can even see this one hard pan right away. It's so crazy. It's so crazy. I've never had a ColourPop shadow do that to me. And this one was a little bit patchy on a dry lid with a synthetic brush, so I don't know, that wasn't my absolute favorite. It's a cool tone, wonderful little dream if you like light blues and greens or even mixing them together. I feel like you could have a fun time with these shimmers. My favorite thing is this like Super Shock duochrome in the middle. Like that's absolutely gorgeous. I think these liners, personally, if you guys were interested in any individual item of the collection, these were not so great. I feel like ColourPop even has better formulas than this in their normal line. They're a little bit on the goopier side, a little bit runnier, as you guys even saw on the swatch, and you don't get a whole lot of translation as it comes to that glitter. Again, they're trying to throw like glitter in basically everything, and I feel like it's kind of missing the mark just a little bit. If I'm being totally honest, like they could have just given us something more matte and less liquidy and still added shimmer to it. This was all kind of glitter on my cheeks, as you guys saw. I do think though, if you build it up, it has a stronger base. I would say like use this with your finger, the one in Vampire Skin, because it's so much nicer with your finger. And then this one in Meadow here is a shifty pink. So if you like shifty pinks, it's nice. I was really disappointed in these glosses. I wanted them to really translate with these sparkles, and they looked streaky because they're just not overly pigmented. I think the one in Belle is the best one. So I don't know, I'd love to hear your guys' thoughts about the collection. If you're gonna pick it up, if you've already picked up, what you think about it. I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments below, you guys. I'm out of here for this evening, and I hope to catch you all in my next video. Bye guys.